Let me now take this across to my guest who's also joining me on the broadcast. B.S. Arun, senior journalist, is joining me on CNN News 18. Mr. Arun, thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. Something that we've been doing for at least yesterday. However, we do not seem to have come to a conclusion on what should be the immediate solution. What do you think should be the answer to that?
No, I don't think there is any immediate solution for this, because this is a problem which has come to the Bangaloreans, especially the people living in that part of the city, in the eastern part. After so many decades, this part started growing in the 90s when the IT sector started growing in Bangalore. If you see now, over the last two days, while it has rained the entire city, it is this eastern part which has got affected most because of the shoddy planning and implementation, as well as encroachments of lakes and other areas. So that's the problem. The issue here is, as you had asked, there is no sort of one solution or overnight solution for this. There needs to be sustained planning. First of all, they have to remove the encroachments. Okay. That will take time. They have to identify the encroachment. When it rained last week, Mumbai did a tour of this area and instructed the authorities, to identify the encroached, lands. And I believe some 20 to 25% of land that are encroached has been identified. And now the notices have to be given and the demolitions have to be carried out. Okay. So it's going to take time. There will also be pressure from different quarters not to demolish these structures. Then there has to be separate planning also as to what to do with the encroached land, as well as to set right what has happened now, the waterlogging in the low-lying areas, how to overcome that. So this is going to be a long-term plan and a long-term issue. I don't think that there is any one-stop solution for this.
There has to be a start, definitely. Mr. Arun, stay on with me. Let me take this across to one caller who's joining us on the broadcast. Kishore is joining me from Bengaluru. Yes, Kishore, do you agree that this is obviously a collective effort and effort to actually spoil the city of Bengaluru, the IT hub that India continues to actually boast of, the Silicon Valley of the country? However, these encroachments that have been allowed to actually spring up closer to the lake and the eastern area that my guest, Mr. Arun, was just mentioning about, has led to and brought the city to where it is today? Kishore, if you can hear me. Let me take this to Asha, who is now joining us from Mumbai. Asha, your views on what you see happening in Bengaluru, and of course Mumbai is also a victim of exactly the same situation.
No, Mumbai handles its problems well. Unless this new government has come and they are concreting even Maidans. So you will have no earth available anywhere to take the water into seepage. Now, let me handle this in a little different way. Let's look at it nationally. We are in floods everywhere. Have you seen even one MLA, one person from BJP putting their feet in the water and finding out what is the problem over there? They don't want to do that. We have floods, but they will sit and go and chase Sisodia. This is basically because nature is answering back to you. There are fire, there is floods, there is no trees. Even in Maharashtra, Mr. Fadnavis is cutting all the trees to put his, metro. Now, if you continue to expand by building Vista, now what did you do in Vista? You put all the offices, all the government areas into a garden space and left it like Pentagon to be bombed. So everyone who is over there, who's leading the government, including the president, the prime minister, will be bombed. Because you people are not in media. If you stop backing the government and try and think and research, you will find out what's happening in Bangalore. It's not the fault of the BJP government or the Congress whom we are blaming. It is the fault of the government who's sitting in the center, which is the union government. And they have no ajurba in handling the problems of this nation. We are still getting people dying at the boundaries. We are building ships and taking credit for it, which you didn't do anything. We built this whole nation. I'm a granddaughter of this founder member of the Indian National Congress. We gave 2 of our sons to the army. They came back with wounds and everything.
Well, absolutely. And the apathy is something that the government, which is sitting at the center, is not really looking at. That is the view of one of the callers who has joined us from Mumbai. Let me take this across to Murli, who is now joining us from Bengaluru. Yes, Murli?
Yeah, this is Murli here from Bangalore. I stay somewhere in south of Bangalore. In fact, I was staying in northeast of Bangalore earlier, around about 15 years back. That is near the IT hub and all that. That is Whitefield. I stayed near Whitefield and near the Bengaluru Lake itself. In fact, those days also I used to see this the smoke and the cotton-like thing coming from the lake and all that. It was happening that time also, in fact. Nobody was taking cognizance of it. Now, and I used to see the development. In fact, the traffic was not so bad that side at the time. But I shifted after some time to the side, towards the west and the south side. And now I find if I go that side, in fact, crossing 2 kilometers takes around about hour. In fact, 2 to 3 kilometers it takes an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. That is the speed in which development has taken place at the It is not a lack of one government. In fact, there has been lapses of number of governments which have been there for a long time. In fact, not today. This is happening for some time. And the same situation happened in Chennai. They encroached on the lake and lake bodies and all that. And the situation today, Raja Kalve is there. All the Raj Kalve has been acquired and apartments have come in the IT area, in fact. Now, where I stay here, there is no problem as much as what is happening that side. So I feel this is the unplanned development which has been left for a long time. And so-called IT people who, in fact, so-called they say they are not getting that, this, and all that. They should understand that they are also part of the system where they have contributed to all these problems.
Absolutely.
Also.
And too many encroachments, of course, are doing this to Bengaluru, what we see today. Let me also get in